It is back to the office for Iowa lawmakers. Right there. Monday begins the legislative session. It's an election year. Omicron is spreading fast across the state. There's a Republican governor, and that party holds about 6 out of every 10 seats in the legislature. So Republicans can almost do whatever they want this year, but they will likely wait to act on vaccine mandates until the courts rule first.
I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm vaccinated. But let's be honest, there's a difference between being an anti-vaxxer and being an anti-mandate.
Now, Republicans also know that Iowa has billions of dollars in the bank, thanks in part to so much federal COVID-19 relief money coming in. So you can look for more tax cuts this year. Now, the minority party says, let's skip more tax cuts for the rich. And remember, there probably won't be more of that federal stimulus money coming next year.
I certainly would have really serious concerns about long-term changes to the tax code that don't account for the fact that the ARP helped secure the current surplus that we have.
This week, we will focus on those issues that could get the most attention from lawmakers: tax cuts, workforce shortages, what kids are learning and reading in school, and the governor's big speech over the dinner hour on Tuesday. Plus, we are one-on-one with New Jersey's Governor Chris Christie, the former governor. He ran for president once and is thinking about it again. Find out where he agrees with Iowa's governor and where he thinks she and her party made a mistake.
From your local election headquarters, this is The Insiders with Dave Price.
Happy legislative session eve. Now, each session brings some unknowns. Here's one thing that we know will almost certainly happen, though. Republicans will cut personal income taxes more. Now, probably not down to zero here, although they do want to get there one day. Iowa received billions of dollars in federal COVID-19 aid, but probably will not be getting this in the future. Now, Republican leaders still think that they can do some permanent tax cuts here rather than just issue a rebate check with some of this leftover surplus money.
I think that we really are in an opportunity where, with that $1 billion they're sitting there, I think we're looking at something that can be long-term and sustainable and not just be a quick, here's just a right now immediate solution. We're in an opportunity where, again, because of the leadership of the legislature and the governor, we're in a position where we have the resources, because this economy stayed open, to be able to make meaningful change long-term for Iowans, not just a immediate, hey, here's whatever that dollar amount would be, and then next year there may be those continued pressures.
For 5 years, Republicans have been in control of both the House and the Senate, and for 5 years, we've been working on sound budgeting principles and solid tax policy. I'll say it again. It's no longer a matter of, well, this could end poorly for us, you may be spending too much. We've proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that the policies that we've been putting forward, the policies we've enacted, are good for Iowans. We've got all of our rainy day coffers full. It's $1 billion. We've got the taxpayer trust fund that's standing at over $1 billion. We've got an ending fund balance of what, about $1 billion. And next year's revenues with the Revenue Estimating Conference are coming in with about $1 billion more than we spent this year. That isn't one-time money. That's solid, sound governance. That's solid budgeting practices, and it's solid tax practices. We've put Iowans in a position where we can now talk about, instead of doing across-the-board cuts to every facet of state government, we're in a position where we can now talk about reducing the burden on the individual middle-class taxpayer.
And for what it's worth, the House and Senate Democratic leaders say they do not want the additional tax cuts going to wealthier Iowans. Now, here's another issue that could be a little more unpredictable to watch here. Some parents have complained about the words, subject matter in illustrations that are in books like this one that you can find in some school libraries. The governor says lawmakers want to make sure that parents know what their kids are learning and reading.
The legislators have and will continue to hear from parents on this issue. We should be focusing on educating our children. We should be making sure that they can read, do math and science, and I think transparency is the key to that. Parents need to know what books are in the library to give them a chance to weigh in. They need to know what the curriculum is and the syllabus and what they're using and teaching in the classes. And I think you're going to see parents that are engaged and paying attention. One of the outcomes of COVID is it gave parents a front row seat into what was happening in our education system. I think they just took it for granted that our kids were being taught how to read and do math and science and really prepare them to be successful adults. And, there's so much of that is still happening. I don't want to paint this as a big, broad problem, because we've got educators out there that are doing their best every single day, and I'm proud of what they do. My daughter is a public school teacher, and they've been there through some really tough times. In Iowa, we kept our schools open, and I think as we look at the mental health statistics, and we hear more and more from surgeon generals and just professionals across the country, the impact that this is going to have on kids, and now you've got schools talking again about going online. It doesn't work.
And a reminder, the governor did recommend that Iowa schools shut down for the final few months of the year back in 2020. Now, as far as any legislation goes regarding schools and the books, lawmakers are still trying to think through that, so we don't know the specifics yet. Now, we do know the governor plans to make Iowa's workforce shortage a main theme of her Condition of the State address on Tuesday night. Remember, that speech is at night, 6 o'clock, rather than the morning like it usually is, which could mean that more people will have a chance to watch this. Now, she hasn't offered specifics yet on what her plans could be to try to help employers find the workers at a time where some Iowans have quit the workforce because of COVID-19 or unsatisfying paychecks. Democratic leaders say better protection for people from COVID-19 could help entice people to return to work.
We have 83% of those who are in the hospital today are unvaccinated Iowans. We need to spend our energy focusing on getting Iowans to get the vaccine that has been proven safe and effective, and we need to make sure that we can get out of this pandemic. And science has proven that the best way to do that is to get as many people vaccinated as possible. So that's really where our energy and focus should be if we want to get on the other side of this. And if we're going to talk about workforce, there's another issue with COVID and workforce, and that is that schools are having trouble getting subs and getting people to come in because so many people are out with COVID.
I do want to be really clear when it comes to the workforce issue that we're seeing. What we are seeing in Iowa is worse than what we are seeing nationally. Nationally, there are another 10 million people who are in the workforce that were not in the workforce a decade ago. Here in Iowa, there are fewer Iowans in the workforce than we had a decade ago. And so there is a unique challenge that we're facing in our state that is separate from what we're seeing at the national level.
Governor Kim Reynolds and Lieutenant Governor Adam Gregg have not announced their re-election efforts yet. Now, one Democrat is giving up on his run for governor. Next, Roz Smith's disappointment with his party's donors.